Well, hello and welcome to Geordieland 1892. Football is back. Well, Geordie football is back. And on Saturday evening, we will be taking on Brentford Football Club and back to the Premier after this international break, which is too long. And like I've said before, I'm not a big fan of it, but it has come at the right time for Newcastle United, in my opinion. It means that Eddie Howe, Jason Tindall and the Newcastle coaching staff can press that reset button and they can take the good and the bad and analyse it and see maybe where we're going wrong. Now, obviously, we won our first game of the season dramatically, and the other three, well, Man City, Liverpool, got abysmal at Brighton. Now, we did do the double over Brentford last season, beating them 5-1 at our place and 2-0 down at their place. We haven't played Brentford in history that many times. I think the first time we ever came across them was about 1934 or something like that. But this is a massive game for Newcastle United on Saturday to get back to winning ways. And it's also a massive game to up the morale and up that confidence before that historical and massive, gargantuan game on Tuesday night against AC Milan at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium, or if you would like to call it the San Siro. Now, Brentford haven't started too badly this season, really. No losses in their first four games. They've won one and they've drawn three, and they seem to be doing all right. They've throughout the last couple of years, there've been a few shocks, haven't they? They've sucker punched a few teams, but definitely in the last three times we've played them, we've come out winners. Now, I do expect thoroughly on Saturday that Newcastle will bounce back and beat Brentford. Sven Botman apparently is recovering and he's making very, very good progress. Back to training, I heard, but he won't make that game. And Sandro Tonali, now this is another blow, really. Hopefully he will be fine for the Milan game. And I'm kind of hoping that it would be fantastic news, wouldn't it, if Sven Botman could play in that game as well. But it's all a bit dubious at the minute. Now, Sandro Tonali was supposed to be playing last night against the Ukraine for Italy. Italy won that game 2-1. He didn't play in that game due to muscle fatigue. How serious that is, I don't know. But I think we could probably safely say we won't see them on Saturday. Now, obviously, it's a 6:30 kickoff here, 5:30 in the UK. And I really can't wait for us to get our teeth into it. The support will be fantastic at St. James's Park, as ever. But I imagine the thing that is just absolutely buzzing around Geordieland and Tyneside at the minute is this massive, massive game on Tuesday night. Back in the Champions League after 20 years, the atmosphere up there at the San Siro is going to be massive. It's going to be a colossal tifo, I can imagine. And I hope, that we've got some armour with war flags over there as well. I can well imagine that will happen. But it is a massive, massive game. And I mean, even here in Italy, I've been speaking to some Milan fans that I know. And of course, it's all at the minute, just everybody's talking about this game on Tuesday night. Now, Newcastle United have never actually met AC Milan in a real football competition. They've never come across them ever in history. So it is historic because it'll be the first time the two teams meet. We've met their rivals, their bitter city rivals, Internazionale or Inter Milan, if you'd like to call them that. And we've played their rivals at least 4 times in European competition. And I think we actually played when they were still, before they were called Internazionale, they were called Ambrosiana. and I think we played them in 1929 in a friendly, which we won, much to the dismay of the Inter fans. But obviously we've been to Milan, but we've never played AC, so it is a massive, massive game, isn't it? Historic, like I say. But we did play them in a friendly for Steve Harper's 20th anniversary game, kind of testimonial to Steve Harper, which, by the way, I have to say, Steve Harper had suffered a brain hemorrhage, and I wish him a speedy recovery, and send all over the channel to him and his family, and we hope you get better soon, Steve. That's really terrible news, but I'm sure you'll bounce back from it. Now, they did play Milan that night, and it was a Legends Milan 11 and a Legends Newcastle 11. And there was the likes of Paolo Maldini and Franco Baresi and this little bugger who was in there. We don't like him, do we, very much? But listen, at the end, it went down to penalties, and they beat us 2-1 on penalties. Now, it's going to be a very, very interesting game, this, because Milan have started the season very, very well. 3 out of 3 in Serie A. They beat Roma 2-1, went down to 10 men and hung on in the capital. But they went on to play Torino, beating them 4-1, and then off to Bologna, and they won that 2-0. Now, that man, Giroud, we've come across him before. He's a very talented player, and he's on fire at the moment. To be honest, I watched quite a few of those highlights from them games in Serie A, and he scored quite a few goals, and he could have had an absolute sack full more, shooting from distance at times. But it turns out that he might not be available. He did come off 26 minutes into the France v Republic Island game with an ankle injury, and he may not make that game, which is good news for us, really. Very good news indeed, not for him and not for the Rossoneri fans. Now, the Milan team are fast, aggressive. They're absolutely fabulous on the wings, you know, with Leo and Pulisic, a player that Newcastle seemed to be interested in. And there was talk that he was going to come to Newcastle on loan for a period, but he went to AC Milan in the end. But I mean, when you think about it, they've got Maigan in goal, Tomori, Thau, and Calabria and Hernandez at the back. Krunic, Loftus-Cheek, who they acquired from Chelsea, and you know, Reinders, and of course that man Giroud had to be plays, and Jovic, who is yet another fabulous striker. And Newcastle United are going to have to be really on their game on Tuesday night. They're going to have to really be concentrated, compact. They can't, whatever they do, they cannot leave any gaps in any hole in that pitch. They will be exploited massively by AC Milan if they do that. They have to be tight, and they have to be on the ball. They have to be concentrated. Any gaps in that pitch, they will exploit it, and they will punish you. They will really punish you. They play a fast game. But saying that, if Newcastle are back on song, and the way we play with a bit more aggression, and a bit more, well, let's be a bit more ruthless. And, you know, we do make chances. When we do, you know, when we take them, it's fantastic, but we have to be more ruthless, and we have to convert any chance that we get against Milan. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric. I can guarantee that. I'm sure there'll be lots of displays by them, flags and probably flares, even though it says on the Newcastle United itinerary about things that you can't take into the ground as flares. Well, I just see them all the time there. But hopefully war flags will be taking a display over for our end now. I've heard we are going to be up in the gods, so that means we won't get lots of pee, bottles of pee, and lots of other objects thrown down upon us like last time when we played Inter. Obviously, the famous incident wasn't AC Milan though, it was Inter Milan who threw a motorbike, well, a scooter, off the top, on top of Atalanta fans, if I remember rightly. But we'll be on the top tier, and I think that's a blessing really for any of the Newcastle supporters going. I will not be there, unfortunately, even though I do reside in Rome at the minute. I just can't take time off work. I was really praying that this game would have been later in the year. Maybe if it had been in October, I would have been there. But at this moment in time, I can't get the time off. It's as simple as that. I did start a new job not long ago, so I can't really rock the boat. And I am gutted the fact that I won't be there. But to be honest, the last time I was at the San Siro, the place was falling to bits. And to be honest, I think they really need to pull it down and start again. And that was quite a long time ago. So God knows what it's like now, unless they've done plenty of improvements. Apparently the toilet facilities in the way end are absolutely drastic. I think there's only about 12 urinals or something. So, you know what I mean? Take a bottle with you. Take a plastic bottle. But yeah, like I say, I think it's going to be an absolutely marvellous, marvellous occasion. And I'm praying that Newcastle United can get something there. It really would. It would be something else, wouldn't it? Would be nice if Giroud's not playing, but there again, you've still got to watch his job. It's one of them, and you know, Pulisic has done pretty well for them as well in these first 3 games. But Leo is fantastic, and we've really got to watch them up them wings. That's what I'm saying. Their midfield is class as well. But look, saying that, if our midfield can perform, we're class on with D as well. So am I fearful about this game? I'm not really. I'm not really fearful about this group. A lot of people called it the group of death, didn't they? Look, I think it's great. We've waited 20 years. I think we might as well take on the best and see how we measure up, really. I mean, apparently the bookies have got us quite high odds to get out of that group. So, yeah, why not? Now, it's pretty much impossible to say who will be playing on Tuesday night, in my opinion, because of the game that we have on Saturday. We have to see who comes through that, really, against Brentford. And then, obviously, Eddie Howe can make his tactical decisions after that game. I do hope and I do pray that Botman is fit. It would be fantastic. And I do hope Tonali is fit. The only concern that I have for Sandro Tonali is, speaking to a few Milan fans that I know here, is that they were saying that he's going to come in for quite a bit of an abuse, really. I think they're very, very, very angry that he left the club. Whether that was, you know, down to the owners, they should be blaming maybe the owners for that, I don't know. But I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him if he does play. And I can imagine some Milan fans have said that he will be applauded. Some have said that he's dead for them. So I think it'll be a mixed reaction. But I think if the lad's on the pitch, you know what I mean, it could be a lot of pressure for him returning there after, you know, a very, very short time. Basically, he's just signed him, and then he has to go and play against his own club. I don't know if we'll see him. I don't know. It could be make or break. I don't know. But a lot of pressure on Tonali if he does step out on that pitch at the San Siro. So there you have it, really. I just hope it's a brilliant game. 7 times winners, Milan, by the way. European Cup and Champions League. Semi-finalists last year. You know, they've got pedigree in this competition. And we've just got to go out there and just do the best we can. And who knows? It could be a historic win for Newcastle. Look, we'll wait and see. I'm not going to give any predictions. Like I say, every time I seem to give a prediction of a match, I seem to Jonah it. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But like I say, I hope we get a great result against Brentford on Saturday evening. And this on Tuesday night, obviously, it's an early kickoff. So I'm going to have to be really zooming me jets to get there for kickoff. Down in the local pub, I'll be watching it, where I'm sure there'll be quite a few Geordies and there'll be quite a few Milanista there as well. Anyway, from me, keep at Geordieland 1892. Hope you've enjoyed this. It was just a little bit of a teaser before these two games. We'll see what happens in the next few days. Anyway, from me, all the best. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to share this video with somebody, do so, please. And I'll see you soon.